Let's just go see what happens inside. Hey there, we're in break?
Yeah.
Oh, nice to see you.
At 9 o'clock.
Well, you know where I was.
Well, I know, but
What did they do?
I hear that you got some good FOIA information.
Yeah, I got some interesting FOIA information on the library.
Yeah, I think as soon as you said it, I got texted.
I'm guessing I know whose wife sent you the text.
Yeah, she did. I was like, another nail.
it's unbelievable.
Well, it's, you know,
Unbelievable. How it feels like in here. Are they going to go through another round?
so are they doing a meeting here or what are we doing?
I don't know. What are they?
No, so we did public comment.
See, is this a regular meeting or are they? No, it's special meeting. Interviewing the people?
Yeah, they did the interviews. We just got done with public comment. And then I think they're.
Oh, yeah. Anything good, Bruce?
Depends on, I guess, what the definition of good is.
Were you there when the crossroads people?
They're ready. They have to.
No, I
was wondering.
you know, I pretty much left after I was done and you were done.
Bethany Drive. Somebody comes running out after me every time I talk. This time it was Bethany Drysdale.
Yeah?
And no, we're just getting ready.
We can go do our thing outside or listen in here or whatever you guys want to do.
How long are they out of here?
I got no idea.
We're almost done.
10 minutes. 15 minutes. We start. Good stuff, believe me. It's done well. Old Gianna's been disappointed when I said she's kind of been somewhere with me, love child of Jeff Church and Colleen West, somewhere in between. She won't fight him. She seems very sweet lady.
Oh,
Gianna Jackson.
Gianna.
Yeah, she's a breath of fresh air. You got her off the president's job right away.
Yeah, how did they do it?
I don't know. I didn't know they had an election coming up, but
They took the chair away from her.
they moved her away from that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
did
how.
they elect her the first time? How did she get on there? How did she become chair?
I wasn't even watching it when that all happened.
She's not even. So.
But the library board should be interesting tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, well, and did you hear what they did? So Ann Silver did that, pulled a board here and moved the comments down to after reports, so it's like an hour into the meeting before they'll start.
And there are only 2 minutes for
Yeah, only 2 minutes. It's about long enough to.
What is it tomorrow?
tomorrow night at 5:30, I think, at the,
Downtown?
Yeah,
I'm guessing, yeah.
I liked it last time.
bring, wear your hazmat suit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the underneath the computers and see what I can see.
Sure.
I got a pretty good set.
Green light, you know.
Yeah, I got a pretty good one.
Black light, black light.
Yeah. Yeah, where should we shoot out here?
You want to do that right now?
Yeah.
How long you want to spend?
It'll be less than 15.
So when are they coming back?
I've got regular, they're coming in 10. You know, there's hardly a parking space.
They're gonna be talking amongst themselves for.
Yeah. There's plenty of parking spots. I park right next to Roger.
Well, what's the, what's this?
And then when they come back, they're going to go ahead and. So, yeah, I don't know if you got to see the last one.
It would be a pretty good place. We didn't want to interrupt it. Be right there.
Okay, let's go if you want to go talk. It's going right now, so.
For another,
Well, we're
I guess, another.
waiting. The state of the schools address is scheduled to begin in 5 minutes.
Hi.
Yeah, that's what Bethany was wanting. I'll let you take it. It was good time. I don't know, what do you want to do?
Okay, okay.
I got your picture already, so you're good.
Oh, that's the end of that? Oh, good time.
Well, they got your picture up there 1,000 times over.
Boy, yes.
Well, how many cameras I got in here? 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a bunch in that one
There's
there.
this one you're seeing.
Well, no, they got 4 cameras just right in here.
Took all our pictures.
All the time, everywhere.
I saw channel 2 is out there.
Yeah, he's here, or she, or
But,
whatever.
probably, I don't know if they're covering this. Let me see, let me just see.
Whoever's doing it.
Yeah. Oh, we need
I think the sound's coming through. The videos, I don't know if you watch the videos, it seems like the sound comes through okay most of the time.
it's pretty good. Just, yeah, it's, are these kind of a pain in the butt to do, or?
No,
I don't know how to.
I'm live streaming right now, so it's just going.
Oh, okay.
Now that I'd just plug in and figure out how to make it work. Just I'd have to reset my stuff up.
Let's see. T-2.5.
Well, then we better go back in and sit down in there. Let me let her know what's going on. I'll be right back.
Okay. Want me to hold that for you?
No, I'll just set it right. I'll just set it right here for a second. That's the advantage of that thing there.
2 hours? I know we were. Yeah, it might be.
All right. Okay, we'll see you guys.
Sure, let's find our spot. I'd say we're less likely to get interrupted if we're in here. Of
Okay.
course, interrupted might be good.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Okay.
That's the thing with live. It is what it is.
Good.
She's coming on in too.
Okay. On wide?
Yeah.
She need her hand or she got it?
Oh, she's okay, I think.
Okay. All right. What do you want to do?
Right there probably works okay.
I mean, part of me would like to do it in here and have them hear it.
Well, then let's go in there and have them hear it. It's a public space.
It is a public space.
As long as you're not interrupting the meeting. That's all you can't do. I think the first time I came in here, they had a different desk over here though. So I think this is all remodeled.
Setup's been a little different.
Yeah. Anytime you want to talk.
All right. Let's see, I'm pretty much in the lens there.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Here, I can go a little higher. And there you go, you're in the lens.
All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the official State of the Schools Address 2025. It's being brought to you by Education Crusade, supported by Auditing Reno 911.
Give it a thumbs up and a like.
Okay, good. What a year it's been. And this is only what we hear about. How do we do with student learning? Well, it continued its downward trajectory, which is hard to believe. We've been the worst schools in the nation for well over a decade. The ability to enter college rate and pass anything still is about at 10%. 90% of the students do not. And the reading level is extremely low. What's causing the situation? We have a guest. Yes, sir.
Hi guys. This isn't the place where we hold the public forum. If you guys want to, you guys can go outside. Is this for your state of the state address?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we normally hold public forum and the school district allows and holds public forum outside in the public areas. So we're gonna ask you guys to head out there.
To talk.
Because the meeting is going on.
Well, the meeting right now, I got a camera right here. Here, let's show it, because I'm running a live stream right now and people like this stuff. This is what they, so there's no meeting right now. There's nobody sitting there right now, so why can't we talk when nobody's talking in there and the meeting's out of order?
Why don't you continue? Go ahead. And then when the,
Comes to order, then we'll,
perfect, okay.
sounds good, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So you might ask yourself, with this continuing years and years of no learning, what's causing it? Well, here's a few of the things. Attendance. Obviously, kids have to attend school to learn anything. 30 to 50% on any given day just don't show up. That's 20 to 30,000 students not here. How can you learn when you're not here? For example, on the tardies, you might ask, what effect does being on time have on learning? Well, Worcester High School, for example, during the past year.
Yes, we do. You guys, I do have to ask you guys. I wanted to double check
Okay, well, who said that? Because
our legal department.
who's your legal department?
Neil Lombardo is head of our legal department.
Can I talk to him?
I don't.
Because like I said, the meeting's not called to order, so the meeting's not in order. And my thing with doing this is testing government, auditing government. And when it comes to constitutional rights, if there's not a meeting in order, shouldn't people be able to allowed to speak wherever they want, whenever they want, as long as you're not in order, because you're not disrupting a public meeting, right?
Correct. I understand you're not disrupting the public meeting, but we want to go out where we hold public forum. And we hold public forum, we allow public forum out on the street or on the sidewalk, right?
So you can't have a public discussion within the public library or public lobby is what I'm saying.
Well, you're coming in here, you're doing your live broadcast, right? You guys are media, so to speak, correct? Correct? So we're asking for you guys to utilize kind of the public areas, which is over here, which is outside.
Who's in here?
No one's in there.
That would work?
You know, out in,
Outside the building is what you're saying. So what you're saying is inside the building, you can't speak. So
not a
public
public
speech is limited within the public building, even when there's not a meeting in progress.
I'm just telling you that where the school district allows a public forum is outside on the public access area over, I'll just describe it as the grassy area next to the sidewalk.
And I'm just a guy that likes to ask questions, so
That's fine.
forgive me.
I appreciate it.
And if I come anywhere close to where you want to arrest me, just let me know and I'll do exactly what you say under threat of arrest. But until then, I'm going to question and push and try to find where the boundaries of the Constitution are. Because what I believe is Article 1, Section 9 of the Nevada Constitution. Have you read that? Thank you for turning the body camera on. I appreciate that. My camera's been going. I got 3 of them.
We'd appreciate Lombardo saying what part of the law he's citing that tells us.
And so what my argument to you would be as somebody that's taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect my rights, Article 1, Section 9 of the Nevada Constitution, since we're in the state of Nevada, says no law shall be made to abridge free speech or the rights of the press. So would you agree that saying that we can only be press at certain places and certain times when there's no public meeting going on, we're not disturbing anybody because there is no public meeting, would you say that and agree that telling me to move outside is abridging my rights as press as the location?
I'm just trying to pass on the policy that the
That's why
district.
That's why I wanted to talk to the attorney.
Sure, I mean, for instance, getting out on the grass on the sidewalk, that's not even the school's property. If we
Which
want-
is where anybody can hold public forum, right?
Well, anybody
this is
can-
this is public property. Yeah, so I mean, like I say, if he's saying, if you do this, we're gonna arrest you, let him say that. We're going,
Wait, they're trying to kick you off public property?
They're saying we can't talk in here on
I don't
film.
want it to get to a point where this is gonna be like a trespass issue.
we don't need it.
Well, you can go there. I'm suing the county already. I'll sue the school district too. Then I get to do depositions and discovery. It'll be fun.
Okay,
I'm good for that.
I understand.
I got a Supreme Court case in the state of Nevada where they said Washoe County violated the Constitution and the law in the last election. And the Supreme Court held that when I went there. I'm perfectly content to take anything to court with regards to protecting our constitutional rights.
Superintendent being,
So that's kind of where I
is
stand.
this the superintendent doing this?
No, this is us, this is our policy that I'm trying to enforce and ask that we move the public forum out to the public areas over by the sidewalk and by the grass so that we don't get into an area.
Well, the schools
situation where
are
we're
a
gonna have
public
trespass
forum. I
against.
mean, they're famous for covering, they paid out $4.5 million a couple of years ago because they didn't wanna be public with things. I mean, they're in their own interest, not the public's.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we're interrupting nothing. In there, we're interrupting with nothing, right? I mean, if Rombardo wants to come out and tell us where the
No,
law
it's not,
is.
no, it's.
And just to show the people that are
It's my
watching,
job.
there's nobody in the meeting right now, and so the meeting's not in
No,
order.
I don't envy a business, no. But that's why I say, we'd be more than happy to talk to him.
Yeah, have the lawyer come out, because I'd really
You
like
guys
to engage him.
you can't have the public forum in here, okay? You guys have to go out to where the district has approved you guys to be for a public forum, which is gonna be out again in the grassy over by the street. If not, you guys are gonna be trespassing.
Okay, so what you're saying is under threat of trespass, under threat of arrest, if we don't go outside and record somewhere else, that will be trespass. So am I allowed to record the public meeting?
Yes.
I'm just not allowed to record anybody talking in the public lobby.
You can't have your public forum in the light.
No, we're just talking in the public lobby.
Okay, I understand that. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it.
Well,
but-
just tell me under threat of arrest, unless you go outside,
No,
we're gonna arrest you. 'Cause I want some legal standing is what I want.
Explain your definition of public forum.
So what
versus
what I'm looking
conversation.
is legal standing to go to court to test your theory.
We want
And
you or
the on- the
Rombardo
on-
to say you're breaking the law.
And the only
You
way
can't stay.
I can get that is if you say under threat of arrest, unless you go do this outside,
So I need to know
then I've got
the
legal standing.
definition.
Unless you say that, then I
work
don't have legal standing.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, if you guys don't go out to where we are designating the public forum area, you are gonna be trespassing. And then, yes, you are subject to a citation arrest.
Okay. Then on that note, I think I've got some standing, so we'll go outside and then, what was your name
It's Sergeant Cardinal.
and your badge number?
129.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you guys.
So we'll go outside and we'll come back in once they're gone. Power-hungry tyrants. Tyrants, that's what they are. They hate it. But that's what they do. They don't want anything to be seen by the public. They don't want the public to talk. It's not really America.
If they would trespass you, what comes from that?
Well, then you're just not allowed in the property anymore. It's kind of like me with the library. I'm not allowed to go in the library.
Like indefinitely?
Well, for the next year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you were staying with us on the live one, you saw that the school district obviously doesn't want this to be broadcast because it's just telling the truth about what they do or don't do. So going back over it, the kids' learning is going down on our State of the Schools address. It absolutely decreases. And what's causing it? Again, 30 to 50% of the students don't bother to come to school on any given day. A tardy sweep at Wooster High. They wanted to see, well, how many kids are really getting in class on time? So they decided after one morning class they were going to do a sweep of the campus. What surprised them is when they picked up 300 kids who weren't in class. This is just one period. What can you do to stop this? How could the schools do it? NRS code says the schools can take a parent and their child to court, can get a fine, community service, driver's licenses withheld, increasing consequences until it stops. How many this year did the school district take to court or try to stop this outrageous attendance? 0. Drugs and alcohol. How's that epidemic going on campus? Worse. 50 to 75% is the estimate of kids under the influence of controlled substances in school during the day. And with this, then you've got the school board on top of this, not even acknowledging there is a drug problem. And they refuse to even consider a voluntary drug testing program that Education Crusade offered to them. It's been very effective, so they just pretend it doesn't exist. Meanwhile, losing kids every year to overdoses. Safety. How safe have the kids been this year at school? Well, numerous code reds in the first few months of school. What's a code red? Well, it means there's imminent danger of loss of life or massive loss of life, and these don't get reported unless they get found out to the community. Other than code reds, what's going on when they're not locked down in their room trying to keep from being shot by someone? Well, there's robbery, extortion, theft goes on every day, few if any consequences, and that's why it continues. The school police, how'd they do in the past year? Well, you just saw a little example of that. Let me explain what they do, really. The school police are there to protect the superintendent and tamp down anything that could become an issue. And so they're not authentic police in any sense of the word, maybe in name only. But their main job, we hear from countless parents whose children have been attacked, beaten, etc. And the police, first of all, would refuse to give them videos of the incident, saying that, well, they will take care of it. Secondly, they'll do things like bring a student, especially young ones, in on their own to interview them and tell them, well, you can tell us about this guy that beat you up and robbed you and stole things from you, but we might not be able to keep it private, and sometimes they might come back on you worse, so are you sure you want to file the charges? This is how the school police work. It's gotten worse. Behavior and discipline. Well, other than the teachers that are beat up on a regular basis, they usually get through their day. Occasionally a picture of a teacher's bloody face or something makes its way into the media, but very seldom. They have a special place they've had for years out back where teachers who are mentally or physically unable to return to work, they've been so shattered by incredible, disgusting abuse, physical and vulgar speech too. And many of them, they just let them stay home or let them shuffle papers or something to try to get them back. This is why we've had a stampede of good teachers head for the exits. And while right now we're just pretty much picking up anybody who will come in and be a warm body in a room as a substitute teacher, you don't learn anything that way. They're not learning. The discipline and control is absolutely off the hook. What was the year like with concern for students? Well, let me tell you one story. There was a child over at a middle school. I have the name in my other notes. And an 8th grade child, she had epilepsy. And she would often have serious seizures at school. And the kids would make fun of her. Principal and administration did nothing to mitigate this at all. And the child just was getting more and more disturbed by being mocked and humiliated at school. Her parents were begging the superintendent and the administration to do something about this, and they didn't. Well, the girl one night goes on Snapchat and says, "I've had all I can stand," and killed herself live on Snapchat. Now, the parents had hoped, the school said, and trying after the child was dead, and they were trying to comfort the parents, they said, well, we will mention her, name at graduation, 8th grade graduation. Well, so the parents came at least hoping to have that, their child remembered. They did not so much as even mention her at graduation. And here's a child, this is one we heard about. How many others go on that we don't? Believe me, they're there. Gangs, how are the gangs? Well, pretty much doing what they want. One teacher complained that She has about 4 different gang leaders like to meet in the back of her room during class, bring their drink with them, bring alcohol, and sit there and talk about what the plans are, who's going to take what actions, what territory they're each going to have. This was not 18-year-olds. This was 12 and 13-year-olds in a middle school. Sex trafficking. I don't know how many don't. You know nothing about it because, of course, the board and the superintendent don't mention the fact that for well over a decade, every high school in our district has girls, and now more boys, but mostly girls, who are sex trafficked. Anywhere from 2 or 3 per high school to a dozen or more. Contrary to what people might think, and this came directly from a former staff member who worked this detail for many, many years, trying to get girls out of this. Reno High School kind of takes the award for having the most girls sex trafficked. District used to pay part of the salary for a RPD officer to be out there. They don't anymore. The issue doesn't go away, and again, it's never brought up. Sex education, how's that going? Well, if you want your child basically a how-to manual on how to have every kind of sex, and again, this being taught to 11 to 13-year-olds, right? Then that's the place to be. But it's not. And they talk about sex with your children as very normal, something you might want to do. One point that kind of leave out is that you're breaking the law in Nevada. It's statutory rape for those involved. If they're having sexual intercourse, this doesn't come up. Nor does the fact that the most recent Center for Disease Control statistics say that 25 to 40% of our girls 15 and up have got STDs. A girl at Galena High School was bragging to another student we spoke with that she had 7 STDs. She'd had sex with every member of one of their sports teams. This is just part of the reason why. Who can learn in a situation where all these things are going on? And of course, they do not. Special education. Special ed was initially set up for just a very small percentage, the profoundly developmentally disabled, speech, hearing, vision. But it's grown through what they call resource to pick up almost closing in on 1 out of 5 kids is identified in special ed. It's like Hotel California. You can check out, you can't ever leave. This is a stigma they carry with them. They learn nothing. They go for an hour of tutoring, maybe a day with resource. But what's the school district do? Oh, it's federal, so they stay clear, and basically no rules apply to special ed students. Teachers are told, no, you can't discipline them. You kind of have to let them go. So they've gone crazy, like any normal kid would, with their behavior at every level, assaulting teachers, saying, doing what they want, and nothing happens. And so, of course, the other students see this, and they say, well, it looks good to me. They're doing the same thing. We have numerous special ed classes that have no more than 1 to 3 students in them. And they're still out of control and still learning nothing. Sanctuary schools, you heard, if you were watching the preface to this activity, you heard that the school attorney, Mr. Rombardo, was complaining about wanting to let us access public space. Well, a memo went out from him to all the principals not too long ago. He was trying to keep it confidential, but the principals didn't keep it that way. And basically it gave the directions for how the principals could turn their schools into sanctuary schools, how they could fight against ICE, how they could keep as many illegal immigrants in their schools as possible, and what they should do. Is anyone under any definition paying this attorney to advise to breaking federal law? I don't think so. Lawsuits. Now, you'd think Mr. Rombardo and the school district would keep busy enough doing their normal things, but they have a flood of lawsuits that they've backed up and stalled as long as they can. Nothing coming close probably to the record-setting $4.5 million they paid out here a couple of years ago for indescribable abuse. And of course, because they're settling with our money, They always talk to the parents and try to offer money to pay them, so therefore they can keep it out of the press as much as possible, and that the family cannot talk about it. But all the cases on hold right now have to do with abuse of various sorts and incredible neglect on the part of the district. Again, will the school board, who is supposed to be the watchdog of the community, will the school board ever mention this? Absolutely never. How does all this happen without the community knowing? Well, the school board has passed policies that need to be legally challenged because they're very much unconstitutional. One of their policies threatens teachers with termination if they speak about anything they see or hear going on at school that's illegal. But let's say two teachers go out to get a hamburger and a Coke after school and are in a restaurant talking about a severe abuse case they observed, and somebody at the table nearby, maybe a clerical worker for the school district, goes back and reports them to the school district, they can still be terminated for something like this. What kind of a law is this? And then also they have one where, let's say you want to drop in unannounced and see what's going on in your children's classes or in the school or in the bathroom where no one goes. I know boys much bigger and stronger than I am who hold it all day because they are afraid to go in the bathrooms at school. They never even go in them. They set them on fire, they tear toilets off the floor, they beat up and threaten kids, the drug use, assaults, etc. So the community is pretty much in the dark. And then tell me this, how can you know what's going on at a school board meeting when they start about 2 in the afternoon? Most people are working a traditional shift. You can't come in and do public comment at the beginning. They've bumped it to the end, so you usually have to endure 3 to 5 hours of blather about the architect's new plans, or hearing in detail about the new curriculum, a new and better way to teach kids to read, which is kind of ironic and sadly humorous because we have elementary schools. I have elementary teachers telling me they send entire class loads of 5th grade kids up to middle school the next year who cannot read at all. So this is what you do at a board meeting. You don't hear anything about what's going on. You have these policies to keep people quiet, policies to keep the parents off of the campuses. This is how it goes on. There is no transparency whatsoever. School board's an interesting makeup. They've got a fellow on there named Alex Woodley who quit his job once he was confronted with, and this was all published in all over the media here in Reno, over years of sex texting. And then, so he says, well, people said, are you going to resign? It seems pretty inappropriate for a school board member to have been caught up in that in his own work at a time when you're not supposed to be doing that. And he said, no, he cared too much about the schools. Well, another media shot showed him shortly thereafter texting at the first meeting he returned to after hiding for a while. No word on what he was texting about, but he was obviously texting at a time when the school district he cares so much about was in the process of trying to pick a superintendent who would actually do something. But no, whatever he was texting was more important than that. And the school board could care less. They say they support him and how much he cares. The school board will absolutely support any worthless, unworthy, unconstitutional, amoral activity that they can, and they do. One example of something that's interesting, they get a little off. Beth Smith, the board president, has started a new little virtue signaling activity at the start of each meeting where she gives honor to the Indian tribes who used to be on the land where this sits. Now, I would imagine Beth Smith, and she says, we respect or reverence the wisdom of their elders and the reverence and the wisdom of their elders today. Today, she's in 2025. I'm sure Beth Smith has not worked with one Indian tribe ever in her life, or the parents. If you know, American Indians for the most part, are the lowest performing racial group, ethnic group, whatever it would be, in the country. They've struggled with this for years. I worked 2 years as a principal in San Diego County with 4 different Indian tribes. And I said, no, they don't want the ancestors honored. They don't care whose land the school sits on. What they cared about is the fact that their kids were failing so badly. So I worked with them. I worked with their tribal councils. The Indian kids there from these 4 reservations set records for academic achievement, got suspended less. This is what works. What does our school superintendent do? Believes that just pandering and bootlicking about virtue signaling, oh, how wonderful the Indian culture was, we respect it so much. She's living in the past. My ethnic background is Scottish. I don't want somebody to honor me in a kilt or playing the bagpipes or eating haggis. I don't care about that. If I had children, I want them to learn how to read. They're not doing this with them. So finally, we come to what is the state of the schools here in 2025? Well, worse than it's ever been and getting worse. And why? How could that happen? We just got a new superintendent. I believe his name's Joe Ernst. Well, who did they pick to lead us to greater heights? They picked a bureaucrat who's been with the district well over a decade. And what was Mr. Ernst's job prior to being picked superintendent? His title was Chief of Continuing Progress. Well, not only has there been no continuing progress, there's been no progress in the entire thing, across the table in the district since he took in. What would he know exactly? Plus, his whole time was spent working with elementary, and the real problems with our schools are not at the elementary level. It's where they're incubated, but the real hardcore stuff is at the secondary level, for which the superintendent has no experience, and since he's taken office, he's been completely missing in action, just posing for a lot of photo ops, no doubt at elementary schools. I'll leave you with this. So the hope for the future is only if you vote with your feet and get your kids the heck out of the school district. A longtime employee has this advice that she has shared with parents and grandparents, and she says, quote, if anyone has a child or grandchild in WCSD schools, I would urge you to get them out of there as soon as possible. They are not safe, they are not learning, and the people responsible for your children overwhelmingly do not care at all about what happens to them. What can you do? Don't yell at your TV set. Don't sit there quietly and just say, oh, it's probably not that bad. Your child's going to a subsidized daycare center for juveniles right now. And what you can do is the governor, Lombardo, has the ability to declare an emergency and take control of the schools, in which case he could implement laws and rules. It also gives him the power to get rid of anybody he wants to. He could actually put people in there who have turned around schools, who have done things. Please, if you don't subscribe to Education Crusade's newsletter, go to our website and get the thing and sign up for them. You'll hear updates on this throughout the year. Please call in, go in there, demand that you go look in if you got a child or grandchild. You want to go in there and do a day with them, go to classes with them, see what it looks like, feels like. You won't see anything contradicting anything I've said. So we thank you for listening. We thank Auditing Reno 911 for filming this, and we welcome any comments you may have. I'm Paul White for Education Crusade.
Thanks, Paul. Should we go back inside and see what they're doing inside now?
Sure.
And not talk?
Sure. What was the time on that?
I just know that so far I've been live for 39 minutes. I probably talked for 15, 20.
Perfect.
I'm guessing.
Perfect.
I have to go back and look.
Hello, Bruce.
Let's go see what they got going inside now.
That's fine.
It is good. Let's go see how packed it is.
Was there seats open by you?
It's not too packed. No, they're not even in session yet.
No, they called that.
So we had to go outside because they weren't in session.
No, don't start.
You guys had to go outside, sorry. You guys had to go outside because the district wants meetings over here, correct? They want
So-
public forums outside of the lobby because they're on recess now, but they were on recess earlier because they don't want any type of disturbance or potentially press conference in here. So the delay was in trying to get you to go to the public forum area.
They're still not in,
Correct, they were on break until this concluded,
until what concluded?
your guys' press conference.
Well, we've been outside for like 10, 15 minutes and they're still not back in session.
They came back and
Yeah.
then recessed again.
Oh, did they?
I think it's been 2 over.
Because as soon as they started, we would have shut down. So I mean, that's, you're saying we can't talk while they're not there. I can get why we can't talk when they are there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I think there were just general concerns that they didn't want to start it while you were doing it. I mean, we have no way of knowing if you're going to stop or not.
Oh, I would have stopped absolutely because that's not part of the public decorum for the meeting because you've got to meet the meeting decorum as long as the meeting is ongoing, right? But if the meeting is adjourned or not in session, there's no decorum to uphold, right?
To a degree, correct. But if the issue again is that potentially this could create the disturbance, why would they start it? Why would they start the meeting if there is potentially a disturbance out here?
Just make sure people stop when they're starting the meeting. I guess that's my thing. I guess I'm just more, I believe the Constitution be above all, from what I'm getting from the policies that you're saying that you want to uphold and enforce, you're saying the laws should stand above the Constitution, not the Constitution above the laws.
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that the meeting, what I'm highlighting is that the meeting didn't start because there was a conference out here, correct? So they were waiting for your public forum area
just-
for you to go
yeah,
to the
I'm
public
just-
forum area.
just
and
looking.
then they could start the meeting.
Yeah.
right?
Well, they should probably have enough confidence that somebody would be professional to stop during a public meeting, as opposed to assuming that you're not. So giving people the benefit of the doubt should perhaps be the way government thinks about the citizens it's supposed to serve instead of requiring the citizens to serve the government.
I can appreciate that.
I mean, the citizens do pay the tax dollars. And then the government here, like when they arrested the guy and the one time and the chief lost his job and the school district lost 10 grand, remember that?
Enlighten, go ahead.
Remember,
I don't wanna take your time
did,
from here, but-
no, didn't the school district police arrest a guy for
That's fine.
a public meeting? I mean,
Say it again.
you're okay, well, let's go in here. I mean, I just see issues with the school district. And that's really why I'm here, is because I see issues with the school district, issues with our education. Nevada's been last in education for what, 30 years?
Been a long time.
And we keep spending more and more money than everybody else to get the worst results.
Kind of are.
They go in 1 year.
No, I'll go sit in front. You like me better up there. I'll be from there.
Yeah, let's.
How's it going? One down there.
That's weird.
What's weird? This one? Or the other one? Yeah. It's fun, ain't it?
You know what? I gotta remember to do that.
Let's see what happens here. Did they hire anybody yet?
No, but it's not coming up.
They get to have their decision, huh? What do you think's the move?
Well, I don't know. I didn't try to have the whole printout, right? And I didn't get the printout, so our areas. None of them have come to the board meetings.
I'm guessing.
I've been here for years. None of these four faces have been. They don't know anything about
I'm guessing Matia, is that the name?
Could be.
I'm just guessing based on what people have said.
That's good.
Very much.
Well, there was that one guy
But
with
you
a
remember that one.
strange haircut. You got a lot of guys got military backgrounds, so that's good, but. It depends on what each person is looking for.
Yeah.
You only have six credits, you know.
I'm well aware. Everyone likes what she said and stuff. I just, I mean, what am I
But
gonna
I am upset that they have to
That's
attend
right.
board meetings.
do? That's right.
They should have had 2-3 years of sitting here in these seats listening to
That's
what else going on.
Yes, we do.
In my opinion. Nobody cares what the old guy thinks.
Just don't try to go into a drag story.
Yeah. So you're right, you threw me out the last 2 times.
There's, so Lombardo, he doesn't like us reporting.
Yeah.
Lombardo, he has the cops come to us, they do upset, he has a cop. So he's gonna be my new friend.
Yeah, they didn't like me wearing my domestic terrorist name badge here.
Because right now I got a lawsuit against a judge, because I sued the district attorney for Carson City and he became a judge. So I got a lawsuit against the judge
All
right
right, everyone. Everybody ready to go?
now.
It's 12:07 p.m. on this Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. And we are calling back to order this special meeting of the Washoe County School District Board of Trustees. For those following along or who may have joined at home, today so far in this meeting, we've heard from 4 outstanding candidates. We've heard from our public. This board has had discussion, and we have just embarked on a ranking process where these 6 trustees provided 3 points to our top candidate, 2 points to our second preferred candidate, and 1 point to our third preferred candidate. Before we read off the points by trustee and aggregate totals for the finalists, I do want to point out that points alone do not automatically decide a trustee. Points, just as in the first round, provide insight and guidance to these colleagues here, and they are not necessarily an immediate decision maker alone. That lies alone with this board, a motion and discussion and any action that may be taken. Before we read the scores, I would also like to invite Superintendent Ernst to share his thoughts.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to say thank you to all 4 of the interested trustees, all of the trustees from the start of the process, and all of you for your willingness to serve as a part of a team. And I definitely heard from all of you today that team means a lot to all of you, and I think that that is a really important aspect as we're moving forward in our school district. So during the break, I tried to come out and just say a thank you to each of you, but please know that I very sincerely appreciate your desire, your service, your willingness to help lead Washoe County School District. And so before the votes are all announced, I just wanted to personally thank all of you.
And now we are ready to hear the scoring.
Christine Hall, Jason Bushy 1, Philip Escamilla 3, James Phoenix 2. Adam Mayberry, Philip Escamilla 3, Mark Hodges 2, James Phoenix 1. Diane Nicolette, Philippe Escamilla 1, Marcus Hodges 2,
James Phoenix, 3. Beth Smith, Philippe Escamilla, 2. Marcus Hodges, 1. James Phoenix, 3. Colleen Westlake, Jason Bushy, 1. Mark Hodges, 2. James Phoenix, 3. Alex Woodley, Philippe Escamilla, 2. Marcus Hodges, 1. James Phoenix, 3. The totals are Jason Bushy, 2. Philippe Escamilla, 11. Marcus Hodges, 8. James Phoenix, 15.
All right, I will bring it back to this board upon completing the entire process publicly and in accordance to our laws and policies. It is at this time that we could either have discussion, or if a board member is prepared, we may make a motion.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion. It's pretty clear that we have a winner, so I move the Board of Trustees persuading to Nevada revised statute NRS 386.270 appoints James Phoenix to fill the vacancy on the Board of Trustees in District C to serve in the position until midnight on January 4th, 2027, full 2 years.
Trustee Diane Nicolette seconds that.
All right, we have a motion from Vice President Mayberry and a second by Trustee Nicolette in support of filling the District C vacancy with Mr. James Phoenix. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations, Mr. Phoenix. And now, may I please have you come to the podium?
Sorry about that.
Just, you're gonna get sworn in. Give me one hot moment here while I work with a very small little plastic bag. Okay. So, Mr. Phoenix, please raise your right hand. All right. I, James J. Phoenix,
I, James J. Phoenix,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and government of the state of Nevada
and the government of the state of Nevada
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
whether domestic or foreign,
whether domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
allegiance,
allegiance,
and loyalty
and loyalty
to the same,
to the same,
any ordinance,
any ordinance,
resolution, or law
resolution, or law
of any state notwithstanding,
of any state notwithstanding,
and that I
and that I
will well
will
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of school trustee
of the office of the School of Trustees,
on which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
There it is.
If I just close out, if I may, just for not, 30 minutes, okay? Just like you all had expressed to all the candidates that put in for this, you put yourself out there and, you're vulnerable up there, sitting in that hot seat right there. And, it's really important to get that community engagement going, and I want to thank all of you. But more importantly, thanking you and the rest of the community, so thank you.
Well, Trustee Phoenix, we'll have you come to this side of the dais. I'm going to give you your very first pin, and you're going to actually close the rest of this meeting out with us. And now I will also mention that Trustee Hall now becomes a veteran member of our board. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you all so very much. That now closes item 2.01 and section 2 in its entirety. And we move on now to section 3, our closing items. JJ, do we have any items for 3.01, our closing public comment?
I have no cards.
No cards. Let it be known on January 14th, 2025. Okay, wait, we do have one. No worries, Mr. Rebar. You can always fill that out after the fact, no worries at all.
As long as you know my name, I guess.
Well, we'll have you fill out, so Mr. Rebar, just so you know, we will have you fill out the card either now or after, but you're always more than welcome. Started.
Okay, Drew Rebar for the record. Constitution, that's what I'm about. Mr. Rombardo, you had the police come and threaten to trespass and arrest me unless I took my camera outside to talk to somebody while the meeting was out of session. I'm kind of a litigious guy lately. And the more of these school district functions I come to, the more issues I find with regards to stomping on the Constitution. Now, you're supposed to be an attorney, and I've had some really bad luck with attorneys lately. There's one attorney in Washoe County, Mr. Large. He's got some issues. So I really got to question the integrity of the attorneys that Washoe County, its school district, and the county itself are using. The school board itself, new member, new trustee, welcome. I really wish all of you would have Mr. Ernst have constitutional training put into our schools. And I don't just mean an hour of constitutional training. I mean like a semester of constitutional training. Go through the whole thing. Let's teach our kids what America is supposed to be, what their rights are supposed to be, what freedom of speech means, what the first 10, the Bill of Rights are, what the 14th Amendment is, due process. Let's teach our kids what America is really supposed to be about, liberty and freedom for all. No exclusions for anybody, no DEI garbage, everybody's equal. And I think if you put the Constitution back in our schools and teach our kids what their rights are, so that we can have a government that serves the people instead of what we have now, the people serving the government. So I think that would be a really good thing for the school board to look at and to do. And Mr. Ernst, the superintendent, I think it's incumbent upon you to get the Constitution back in our schools and get rid of all of this other garbage that you put in. Thank you very much, Drew Rebar, for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Rebar.
That's all I have.
Now you got one more.
Well, I'll absolutely take the public commenter, but I'd like to make sure if anybody wants to make public comment, can you please fill out that card now so that we don't close the proceeding? So anybody else who's out there, absolutely, we want to hear from you, but please fill out that card now so that JJ has that.
Paul White with Education Crusade. We were just outside, those of you who want to listen on auditing Reno 911 to the official State of the Schools address was just given outside because they didn't want anything any disruption or confusion to the meeting. You know, it might be a good idea to disrupt it a little bit. For the 50% or more kids who are in the schools right today using drugs with no consequences. For the 30 to 50% who didn't show up today and there will be no consequences. For the parents of the child last year at the middle school who was getting tormented by, because she had epilepsy and would collapse a lot at school. And her parents repeatedly came down to this building and asked, begged for help. Kids were mocking her, making fun of her. And she couldn't take it anymore, so she went on Snapchat last year and shot herself live. Any of you show up? You told the parents that you'd mention her at the graduation. She went to her 8th grade graduation came up, she was dead. And they, nothing was said about her. They told the parents they'd honor her, mention her name, etc. Not a word was said. The last thing I want to address is, JJ, congratulations, and hopefully you bring some reality regarding dealing with Indian kids in our district. I've listened to Ms. Smith's pandering comment about honoring the elders who once were on this ground till I would almost get sick. I worked with 4 Indian tribes, Pala, Palma, Rincon, and Luceño, San Pasqual, down in North San Diego County. And I worked with them for 2 years, and they had the worst, just like they do almost nationwide, the worst academic scores of any group anywhere. When I took over as principal, I went out to the tribal councils, and I said, look, I said, they make this big blather about going back to the culture thousands of years ago. I said, what do you really want? They said, we want our kids to be able to read at a rate higher than maybe 20% of them. We want our kids to get good jobs and be able to get along and behave at school. And that's what I worked with them on. Well, I didn't do one bit of pandering to the culture, but we did a ton of work with the kids. How did it turn out? In Valley Center School District, they had the highest achievement they'd ever had. They had the highest attendance rates, the lowest suspension rates. Nothing comes from this pandering, virtue signaling, waste time at the beginning of the meetings that you've been doing for who knows how many months. So, JJ, I hope you bring some reasonableness to this. I hope you bring some morality to this. I hope you bring some talking about the stuff that matters. Mr. Ernst, it's good to see you. You've been MIA since you got the job. I haven't seen you anywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Wade.
That's all I have.
All right. Oh, we have one more.
I think everyone knows my name here already. I just wanted to publicly come up and congratulate JJ. This was like being in this process with Marcus and Jay. I'm sorry. It is an incredible honor. I want to first say that I wish I would have known you before. You're someone in the community I wish I would have met. And I want to say, from the standpoint of your background being Native, I'm glad to see you in this position, and knowing that your people were here first, and you have a cultural heritage in this county, and I know for sure that you're going to treat our education system with the respect that your people deserve, and all people deserve. So I'm glad to see you in this seat. And to all the other trustees, thank you for this opportunity. I'll continue to be excited about working with the school district and the students in our schools. So thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Escamilla. Okay, I'm gonna do a going, gone now. All right, seeing no other cards in the air, we will go ahead and close item 3.01 formally. And now for item 3.02, the adjournment of this meeting at 12:24 p.m. But don't go far, folks, because we have another meeting coming at 2 p.m. So thank you all so much.
Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah, for a while,
For a while.
until we
Let's
do
see
it
here.
again.
Thanks again for getting hold of Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody watching today, I appreciate the views. Thanks for watching my channel. Like, subscribe, do all that other good stuff. Keep it growing. Drew Rebar out.